Red and blue lights pierced the night as the police cruiser signaled us to pull over on the quiet stretch of road outside Seattle. License, registration, and proof of insurance. The officer demanded sharply, his flashlight beam lingering too long on Jasper in the passenger seat and me behind the wheel, his tone laced with immediate distrust that made my stomach tighten. Jasper's hand found mine on the gear shift, a silent anchor, but I could feel the tremor in his fingers. We had been driving for hours, the kind of exhausted silence that comes after too many unsaid words, heading toward the hospital where his father lay fading. The second officer approached from the passenger side, eyes narrowing at our linked hands before he cleared his throat. "You boys been drinking? This road's got a reputation for trouble this time of night." 5 minutes. That was all it took for everything to shift. While the first cop ran our plates, Jasper quietly handed over the folded marriage certificate we kept in the glove box for emergencies, explaining in a steady voice that we were rushing to say goodbye to his dad before it was too late. The officer's face changed when the radio crackled with a routine check confirmation and he caught the date on that paper, our anniversary from last year. His partner glanced at the document, then at us, and something softened in his shoulders. "Sorry for the attitude, fellas," he muttered, stepping back. "Safe drive. And good luck with your family." He waved us on without another word, the cruiser's lights dimming as we pulled away. Jasper exhaled like he had been holding his breath for years. "They changed so fast," he whispered. "Just like that." I squeezed his hand tighter, the highway lights blurring ahead. That single stop cracked open the door to everything we had been running from. His family's silence, my own buried fears, the life we built in secret. By the time we reached the hospital parking lot at dawn, the weight of that moment still hung between us, heavier than the fog rolling off Puget Sound. Jasper stared at the glowing emergency entrance, his eyes glistening. "I don't know if I can do this, Nathan. Tell him everything after all these years." I turned off the engine, the quiet settling like a blanket. "You don't have to do it alone." "Not anymore." We walked inside together, the sterile smell of antiseptic hitting us like a wave. His father's room was on the 3rd floor, monitors beeping softly. The nurse nodded us in with a kind smile, unaware of the storm we carried. Jasper's mom sat by the bed, her face drawn from sleepless nights. She looked up, surprise flickering when she saw me standing beside him. "Nathan? You came too." Jasper swallowed hard, stepping closer to the bed where his father's frail form rose and fell with each labored breath. "Mom. Dad, there's something I need to say before it's too late." The words tumbled out then, raw and honest, the truth about us, about the love that had saved him when nothing else could. His mom's hand flew to her mouth, but she didn't turn away. His father's eyes fluttered open, cloudy yet focused, and for the first time in decades, he didn't look through his son. He simply reached out a trembling hand. That hospital room became the first real turning point, the place where fear began to lose its grip. By midday, after hours of quiet tears and tentative questions, we left with a fragile promise of more talks ahead. Driving back toward the city, Jasper leaned his head against the window, the morning sun painting his face in gold. "They didn't hate me," he said softly. "They just didn't know how." I smiled, the road stretching endless before us. "They're learning, just like those cops did." But the real journey was only beginning. Back in our apartment overlooking the bay, life resumed its rhythm. My classroom full of energetic middle schoolers, Jasper's drafting table covered in vibrant designs for the new client pitch. Yet that police stop and the hospital visit lingered like a quiet echo, pushing us to examine every corner of our shared world. Friends noticed the change first. Our weekly coffee with Marcus turned serious when Jasper shared the news of his dad's improving condition. Marcus, our straight ally of 5 years, clapped Jasper on the back. "Proud of you, man. Takes guts." But even in that support, cracks were forming we couldn't yet see. As weeks passed, the emotional weight of coming out fully began to reshape us both. Jasper started sketching again at night, not for work but for himself. Images of two men walking hand in hand through city streets, police lights fading behind them. I watched him from the kitchen, coffee in hand, realizing how far we had come since college when a chance meeting in the library changed everything. Those memories flooded back now, clearer than ever, pulling us deeper into the story of who we were becoming. College felt like another lifetime, yet every detail resurfaced as we sat on our balcony that evening, city lights twinkling below like scattered stars. I had been the new transfer student from a small town in Oregon, majoring in education, when I first noticed Jasper in the campus library. He was hunched over a sketchpad, charcoal smudges on his fingers, lost in a world of lines and shadows that somehow captured loneliness I recognized in myself. "Mind if I sit?" I asked, sliding into the chair across from him. He looked up, brown eyes wary yet kind, and shrugged. "Free country. That was our beginning. No grand declaration, just quiet conversations about art and dreams that stretched late into the night." Jasper had grown up in a strict household where emotions were buried under layers of expectation. His dad, a retired mechanic, believed men fixed things with their hands, not their hearts. Coming out was never an option back then. I shared my own quiet struggles, raised by a single mom who worked double shifts but always made space for my questions about love. We became friends first, sharing late-night study sessions and cheap pizza runs. The shift happened one rainy afternoon in the quad. Jasper showed me a drawing of two figures standing back to back against a storm, and when our fingers brushed, something electric passed between us. "I've never felt this before," he admitted later that evening in my dorm room, voice barely above a whisper. I pulled him close, and for the first time the world felt right. We kept it hidden from everyone, stolen moments between classes, whispered promises under blankets. Graduation brought us to Seattle together, me landing a teaching job, Jasper freelancing as a graphic designer. The city embraced us in ways our pasts never could. Pride parades we watched from the sidelines at first, then joined hand in hand. But family remained the unspoken wall. Jasper's mom called monthly, asking about roommates and work, never probing deeper. His dad sent short texts about sports scores. The hospital visit cracked that wall, yet rebuilding took patience we were only beginning to learn. Back in the present, weeks after the police stop, Jasper started opening up more at home. He would pace the living room, recounting childhood memories I had never heard. The taunts at school, the nights he cried alone wondering why he felt different. "I thought if I just worked harder, got better grades, it would go away," he told me one night over takeout. I listened, heart aching, offering the steady presence he needed. Our love deepened in those conversations, no longer just passion but a shared foundation of understanding. Friends noticed too. At a dinner party with our circle, Marcus pulled me aside. "Jasper looks lighter. Whatever happened on that road trip, it's good." I smiled, keeping the details private for now. Yet beneath the surface, tension brewed. Jasper's new client project demanded late nights, pulling him away, and I felt the old insecurity creep in, wondering if his family's tentative acceptance would pull him back into hiding. One evening, after a particularly long day, he came home with a small canvas tucked under his arm. "For us," he said, unveiling a painting of the highway where those red and blue lights had once flashed. In the foreground, two silhouettes walked forward, the police car shrinking behind. "It's our reminder," he explained, "that moments can change everything if we let them." We hung it above the couch, a symbol of growth neither of us had planned but both desperately needed. As summer faded into fall, the emotional layers continued peeling. Jasper began volunteering at a local LGBTQ youth center, sharing his story in small groups, his voice gaining strength each time. I watched him bloom, proud yet aware that every step forward invited new challenges from the world outside our apartment. The betrayal came quietly at first, disguised as concern. Marcus, who had always been our biggest supporter, started asking pointed questions about Jasper's family reconciliation. You sure they're okay with it now? My cousin went through something similar and it blew up later. Jasper brushed it off, but the seed of doubt was planted. I felt it too, the subtle shift in our friend's tone, but chose to trust. Life in America taught us that trust was both our greatest strength and our quiet vulnerability. The days blended into a rhythm of work, quiet dinners, and deepening talks about the future. Maybe a house with a yard, perhaps even considering adoption someday. Jasper's sketches evolved, now filled with brighter colors. Families at pride events, couples facing storms together. Our bond felt unbreakable, forged in that police stop and tempered in the hospital room. Yet the universe had more tests ahead, ones that would force us to confront not just external prejudice but the internal shadows we still carried. One crisp October morning, Jasper received a call from his mom. "Your dad wants to see you again. Both of you." Hope flickered in his eyes as he hung up. "This could be it, Nathan. Real acceptance." I nodded, pulling him into an embrace, the city humming below us. Little did we know how quickly that hope would be tested by those closest to us. The road ahead stretched longer than either of us imagined, but together we stepped forward, ready for whatever came next. The drive back to his parents' house felt different this time. No flashing lights, just the steady hum of tires on pavement and Jasper's playlist of soft indie tracks filling the car. Fall leaves painted the countryside in fiery reds and golds, mirroring the mix of excitement and nerves swirling inside us. His mom greeted us at the door with actual hugs, her eyes softer than before. "He's been asking about you two every day," she said, leading us to the living room where his dad sat in his recliner. Oxygen tube in place but color returning to his cheeks. The conversation started slow, awkward questions about my teaching job and Jasper's latest designs. Then his dad cleared his throat. "Son, I don't pretend to understand everything, but seeing you happy, that matters more than I knew." Jasper's shoulders relaxed for the first time in years. We stayed for dinner, laughter creeping in as stories from his childhood surfaced without the old tension. Driving home that night, Jasper turned to me with tears in his eyes. I never thought I'd hear that from him. Our life in the city settled into a new normal after that visit. I returned to my classroom, shaping young minds with lessons on empathy that now carried extra weight from our experiences. Jasper threw himself into his work, landing a major campaign for a local nonprofit focused on mental health. His designs featured diverse couples, subtle nods to our journey that clients praised without knowing the personal story behind them. Yet society's gaze never fully lifted. At a neighborhood block party, a neighbor we barely knew made a passing comment about those people when pride flags appeared on a nearby porch. Jasper stiffened beside me, but I squeezed his hand, reminding him silently of the officers who had changed their minds in 5 minutes. "We're those people," I whispered later that night, "and we're not going anywhere." The internal conflicts deepened for Jasper around then. He started therapy, unpacking years of self-doubt that had made him question if our love was enough to withstand family pressure. Sessions brought tears and breakthroughs, moments where he admitted fearing he might lose me if his past pulled too hard. I supported him through it all, sharing my own quiet struggles with being the steady one, sometimes feeling invisible in the narrative of his growth. Our friendship circle expanded too, with new faces from the youth center Jasper volunteered at. Young people shared stories that echoed ours, coming out to skeptical parents, navigating small-town prejudice. Listening to them reminded us how far we had traveled. Marcus joined us for brunch one Sunday, but his questions felt sharper now. "How's the family stuff really going? You guys aren't rushing this acceptance thing?" Jasper laughed it off, but I caught the flicker of unease. Still, we pushed forward, planning a small getaway to the coast for our anniversary. The beach house overlooked crashing waves, perfect for long walks where we talked about everything. Dreams of maybe fostering a child someday, building a life that honored both our roots and our truth. Jasper sketched the ocean at sunset, capturing us as tiny figures against the vast horizon. "This is us," he said, handing me the page. "Small but standing strong." Back in Seattle, work demands intensified. Jasper's nonprofit campaign launched successfully, earning local media attention that suddenly put our faces, anonymous in the designs but recognizable to those who knew us, into the spotlight. A reporter reached out for a feature on inspiring local couples. We declined politely, preferring privacy, but the attention stirred old fears. One evening, after a long day, Jasper confessed over wine. What if coming out more publicly changes everything again? Like that police stop, but worse. I reassured him, drawing from the growth we had seen in his parents and even in strangers. Change can be good too. Look at us now. The months rolled on with steady progress. Family dinners became regular. His dad even asking about my students and cracking jokes about "you city boys." Society's undercurrents remained, subtle stares in restaurants, occasional online comments on Jasper's work profiles. But we faced them together, stronger for every conversation and every quiet sacrifice. Jasper turned down a high-paying job offer in New York because it would mean time away from me and his healing family ties. "You're my home," he said simply. That choice solidified something deep inside both of us. The emotional journey wasn't linear. There were nights of doubt, mornings of renewed hope. Through it all, our love remained the constant, a thread weaving through prejudice, family reconciliation, and personal awakening. As winter approached, we felt ready for whatever the next chapter held, unaware that a single conversation with a friend would soon test every lesson we had learned. The betrayal unfolded on a rainy Tuesday evening when Marcus invited us for drinks at our usual bar downtown. The place buzzed with after-work crowds, but his smile seemed forced from the start. Over pints, he leaned in. "Look, I've been thinking about your dad's situation. My cousin's family exploded when they found out later. Said the early acceptance was fake. You sure Jasper's parents aren't just pretending?" Jasper set his glass down slowly, confusion etching his face. "They've been great, Marcus. Why would you say that?" Marcus shrugged, but his eyes darted away. "Just looking out for you guys. Heard from someone at the youth center that your story's getting around. Might want to keep it low-key." The words hung heavy, and later that night Jasper replayed the conversation in our living room. He was fishing for details. "Why?" I held him close, anger simmering at the friend who had stood by us for years. The next day brought confirmation. Marcus had messaged Jasper's mom privately, warning her about lifestyle risks based on half-truths from old college stories. His mom called, voice shaky but firm. "We know our son. Don't let outsiders shake what we're building." Still, the damage was done. Jasper withdrew for days, sketching dark lines instead of vibrant scenes, questioning every relationship in his life. "Was our friendship always this fragile?" he asked me one night, tears falling freely. I listened, offering space while internally grappling with my own hurt. The misunderstanding escalated when Jasper confronted Marcus over coffee. Accusations flew. Marcus claiming good intentions, Jasper feeling exposed and betrayed. "You had no right," Jasper said quietly, voice breaking. The friendship ended there, a painful severance that left a void in our circle. In the weeks that followed, Jasper threw himself deeper into therapy and volunteer work, channeling the pain into helping younger kids navigate similar betrayals. I supported him by creating lesson plans at school that emphasized loyalty and trust, drawing silently from our experience. Family stepped up unexpectedly. His dad sent a handwritten note. "Real friends stand with you, not against you." Those words healed more than he knew. Our bond strengthened in the aftermath, late-night talks turning into plans for a fresh start. We hosted a small gathering of true supporters at our apartment, toasting to chosen family. Jasper's designs shifted again, incorporating themes of resilience after loss. One piece showed two men bridging a broken bridge, light breaking through clouds. "That's us after Marcus," he explained. The societal pressures compounded the personal wound. A client pulled out of a project after seeing Jasper's volunteer photos online, citing brand image. Rejection stung, But we faced it head-on, Jasper pitching to new agencies with renewed passion. "They can't define us," he declared. Through the misunderstanding and its ripples, we learned the true cost of authenticity. Friends could betray, family could surprise, but our love remained the steady ground. As spring bloomed, Jasper proposed a road trip back to the spot where the police lights had once stopped us. "Full circle," he said. We packed lightly, the highway calling us toward healing. Along the way, conversations flowed freely, about forgiveness, boundaries, and the growth born from pain. The betrayal had forced us to evaluate every tie, emerging clearer and closer. By the time we reached that familiar stretch of road, the sun setting in vibrant hues, Jasper turned to me. "Thank you for standing through it all." The emotional layers continued unfolding, each revelation building toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world. No longer hiding behind perfect images, we embraced the messiness of real connection. The journey wasn't over, but we faced the remaining challenges with eyes wide open, ready for the sacrifices still to come. The road trip brought clarity, but real life waited with harder choices. Back in Seattle, Jasper received an offer that could transform his career. A full-time position at a major design firm in Portland, complete with relocation support and creative freedom. The catch: it meant leaving our apartment, my established teaching role, and his parents' newfound closeness. He stared at the email for hours, pacing our living room as rain pattered against the windows. "This could be everything I dreamed of," he said finally, voice thick with conflict. "But it feels like giving up us." I encouraged him to consider it seriously, knowing how much he had sacrificed already. My own position at school was stable, but transferring wasn't guaranteed. Nights turned into deep discussions about priorities: love versus ambition, stability versus growth. Jasper's internal crisis peaked one evening when he admitted the fear rooted in past betrayals. "What if I choose wrong and lose you like I almost lost my family?" His vulnerability cracked me open too. I shared my worries about uprooting, about becoming the partner who followed instead of standing equal. We decided together to visit Portland for a weekend, testing the waters. The city welcomed us with its bridges and green spaces, but every tour highlighted what we would leave behind. On the drive home, Jasper made his choice. "I'm turning it down. You're my anchor, Nathan. My growth doesn't mean leaving you." The sacrifice settled between us like a quiet vow, strengthening our foundation. Yet consequences rippled outward. The firm's rejection email arrived curtly, and Jasper channeled the disappointment into freelance work that slowly rebuilt momentum. His parents noticed the shift during our next visit. His dad, stronger now, pulled him aside. "Son, sometimes saying no is the bravest yes." Those words validated everything. Meanwhile, my classroom faced its own challenges: a parent complaint about inclusive books that echoed broader societal pushback. I defended the curriculum passionately, drawing from our journey without naming it. Jasper stood beside me at the school board meeting, silent support that spoke volumes. The crisis deepened when Jasper's health faltered under stress. Sleepless nights leading to a doctor visit revealing anxiety that required medication and more therapy. Watching him struggle forced me to confront my role as the steady one. I took time off to care for him, cooking meals and listening through tears. "You've carried so much," I told him one quiet afternoon. "Let me carry some now." Our love transformed in those weeks, evolving from partnership to true interdependence. Friends from the youth center rallied, reminding us of community strength. As summer approached, Jasper recovered fully, his sketches returning brighter than ever. Images of two men lifting each other over obstacles. We celebrated small victories. His dad walking without assistance, my successful defense at school. The sacrifice had cost us opportunities, but it gifted deeper intimacy. One evening on our balcony, Jasper proposed something new. "What if we start the adoption process? Build our own family here?" The idea felt right, a natural extension of our growth. Paperwork began slowly, each form a step toward the future we had fought for. Through every internal storm and external pressure, we emerged more resilient. The police stop felt like a distant memory now, its lesson etched permanently. Attitudes could shift, but only if we chose honesty. Our emotional awakening continued, each day revealing new layers of strength. As we prepared for the next chapter, the world still tested us, but together we faced it unafraid. Adoption interviews filled our calendar that fall, each meeting peeling back more of our story for caseworkers who listened with genuine interest. Jasper's designs now included family motifs, two dads with a child laughing under Seattle's famous skies. My classroom thrived with students who sensed the quiet confidence I brought from home. Family dinners became celebrations, his parents fully embracing us, even asking about potential grandchildren. The climax arrived unexpectedly at a community pride event where Jasper spoke publicly for the first time. On stage, microphone in hand, he shared our journey. From the suspicious police stop to betrayals, sacrifices, and the love that carried us through. The crowd cheered, but one face in the audience stopped me cold. Marcus, standing at the edge with an expression I couldn't read. After the speech, he approached quietly. "I was wrong," he admitted. "Seeing you both up there, I get it now." Jasper paused, then extended a hand. "Forgiveness takes time, but we're open." The reconciliation wasn't instant, yet it marked closure on old wounds. That night, back home, we reflected on how far we had traveled. Jasper curled against me on the couch, the painting of our highway moment glowing under soft lamplight. "We didn't just survive the prejudices," he whispered. "We grew because of them." Months later, the adoption agency called with news of a match. A young boy needing stability we were ready to provide. The day we met him, holding his small hand between ours, felt like the culmination of every emotional battle and every tender choice. Our family expanded, love multiplying in ways we never imagined. Through it all, the internal conflicts, societal stares, and personal awakenings had forged two men unafraid of their truth. Life in America continued its mix of challenges and joys, but we navigated them side by side, stronger for every step. True or false? One moment of prejudice can change forever when faced with genuine love.